So we know for sure that your inner being knows where you stand in terms of your practice of thought, which is what your beliefs are. Your beliefs are just thoughts that you continue to think. Your inner being knows where you stand in terms of your practiced thought. And your inner being knows what your path of least resistance, or you could say, more positively, your path of most allowance is to you moving toward the fulfillment of your desires. We want you to leave this room with something really strong knowing within you. And that is, it's not just that we want you to get to all of the things that you want, because we know for sure that you are supposed to be the receiver of anything that this time-space reality helps you know that you want. So we want for you all of those manifestations. But we want more than that for you. We want your joyous journey on your way to them. We want you to get into the swing of understanding that there is always going to be a gap between the newest thing that you've asked for and its full manifestation. And we want you to become so comfortable with that gap, which is inevitable, that you are joyful in the gap, that you're joyful on your way, because you're always going to be in a state of becoming. And if you cannot figure out how to be joyful in your state of becoming, then you're not ever going to be joyful. As soon as something manifests, then you'll be disappointed that the next thing hasn't come too, and the next and the next and the next. You just got to find a way to be in sync with your inner being, who is joyful in your journey. Because your journey is the journey of your inner being. You have two different vantage points. Your inner being, when your consciousness came forth into this little body that was yours in the beginning, your inner being said to you, we will remain here, non-physically focused, and we'll keep the light on for you. We will offer a steady vibrational signal that you will always be able to find if you are feeling for it. And our signal will include everything that you are as you are now moving into this physical human experience, and everything that this human physical experience causes you to know that you prefer. We will keep a steady gaze on your evolution so that you will be able to steadily find your way to the fullness, the full energetic vibrational equivalency of everything that this time-space causes you to desire. It's perfect. It's perfect in every way. Except that you sometimes don't keep up with yourself because you haven't known about it in that clear way. You haven't known what your emotions mean. Most humans have forgotten along the way that when they have negative emotion, that what it means is you've got a belief that's active in your thought process right now that your inner being just does not agree with. Your inner being is love. When you are hate, there's a disagreement going on. Your inner being knows about your worthiness and about the true nature of who you are. And when you're down on yourself or someone else, you are in disagreement with your inner being. And you cannot be in disagreement with who you really are, not for a moment, without feeling the emotional guidance system that lets you know you have left the thread of who you are. Oh, you can easily return. But for now, for the duration of negative emotion, you've left the thread. So sometimes humans say, all right, well, I'll just read one of Abraham's books. They're full of processes. Abraham says, when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. So when you find yourself feeling negative emotion, just focus upon what you want. And we say, yes, do that. We've enjoyed this interaction immensely. But law of attraction doesn't let you flip that easily, because law of attraction is feeding back to you the vibrational things that are a vibrational match to the vibration that you've got going on. And so if you've believed something for a while, then you can't all of a sudden just believe something differently. Law of attraction won't let you. You'd get whiplash anyway. That's not a good idea. Humans think they would like quantum leaps like that, but you don't want quantum leaps like that. The other day, Esther was in Del Mar. We've been telling this story, but it's the best story we've got going on right now to help you know what we just explained to you. She was in Del Mar, hadn't been there in months, sitting at her house, looking out in the direction of where the ocean should be at her desk, but she could no longer see the ocean because the bushes had grown in. Her gardeners came later that day and she said, would you please trim my bushes? I'm blocking my own view. They said, we will. There might be some trees down in the ravine that might be part of the problem, however. And Esther said, I only own half the ravine. We can't cut anything unless it's on my property. They said, well, we'll take care of it. We'll just lace it out. We'll get you your view back. And Esther said, thanks very much. And off Esther went to lunch and then shopping with a friend. She was gone for several hours. And when she came back, she walked across her deck and the ocean was back. She was so glad to see it. And then she saw something that made her gasp. Off a ways from her property, up on the side of the hillside, very close to a neighbor's property, were two big tree stumps cut all the way to the ground. And Esther thought, oh, how could they have misunderstood me? I thought I was so clear. And then she suffered over it because trees matter and it was a big deal and they were big trees and they were gone. And so she worried about it for a day or two. And then she saw a man standing on the edge of that property in a suit, looking at the tree stumps. And she thought, uh-oh. Because she had hoped that the property that was being renovated, that the new people might not know that there were supposed to be trees there. But he took his phone out. He was taking pictures of the stumps. And so Esther thought, I better go confess. She hadn't been to the property. It took her a while to figure out how to get there. It's across the ravine. So she went on a road that was down and went up. It wasn't right. And then she went on a road that was up and went down. And she finally found her way into the property. But the man was gone. And on the way over, she practiced her confession. I did that, and I am so sorry, and I'll do whatever you want me to do to make it up to you. I'll plant new trees. I'll plant your whole property. I am so sorry. But he wasn't there. And so Esther came home and continued to practice her speech because she knew that sooner or later someone was going to show up about these trees. And then the next day she went to lunch with her friend again. And when they came back, she said, let me show you what I did. And they walked out to the edge of the property. She said, see those stumps over there? I did that. And he said, Esther, your gardeners didn't cut those trees down. Where's the debris? Why isn't the hillside all torn up? And Esther thought, oh, yeah, where's the debris? Why isn't the hillside all cut? And then they walked out to the edge and they looked up closer to Esther's property, and there was a very small little tree trunk there with all the debris from the tree all laying at its base. And Esther thought, there must be all kinds of other stupid things that I believe that can't possibly be true. It shocked her. The circumstantial evidence made her believe that she had been responsible for that. Something that was completely, utterly not logical. It would have taken a helicopter that would have had to sawed it off at the bottom, put a rope on it, and just carried it all off in one piece. That would have been the only way that that could have happened. But Esther was so ready to believe that she had done that she couldn't even be rational about it. And she thought, there are other things that I have going on that are just as irrational as that. And we say, it's true of all of you. You've picked up circumstantial evidence along the way. Some things you didn't even live. Your family or somebody just told you about it. Sometimes it's folklore. Sometimes it's things you're hearing on television. Sometimes it's things that people are completely making up and just saying to you so often that after a while it's just easier for you to accept it than it is for you to find a rational thought about it. In other words, there are all kinds of things that you believe that are not true, but more important, are not in vibrational alignment with who you really are and what you really know. And that's really what we want to talk about with you. We want to help you get into sync with who you are, because we want you to live happily ever after. We want you to be happy ever after, not just miserable, 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 and occasionally finding something to be happy about. We want you to be happy not just ever after, always after. Always after, always after, always after now, always after now, always after now, during and after now. Always, during and after now, we want you to be happy. And we know for sure that you can be, because your inner being is. And if you could find a way of getting in sync, and you will, we'll show you today, getting in sync with your inner being, then you can be happy, 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 dead, happy, 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 happy. That's how it's supposed to be. So, what do you want to talk about? Did you come with some things that you want to talk about? You did. You did. Oh, there's a lot of trouble in this room. No, it's going to be a wonderful day. Just relax. Try to be happy even if you're not in the hot seat. And if you're annoyed at whoever is in the hot seat, it's not working for you. It's not working for you. Begin right here.